A little boy shuffled down the quiet street, clutching a small bunch of flowers in his tiny hands. Each step was heavy, but hope flickered in his tired eyes. He knocked on door after door, dreaming someone would notice him. Most people ignored him, or worse, sent him away with a harsh word. But on this ordinary day, a single knock would change everything. The sun had barely risen, spilling golden light over the sleepy town, yet little Ayan was already on the move. With a small bundle of wildflowers tied with frayed string, he walked through narrow streets and winding lanes. His shoes were old and tattered, the soles barely holding together, but he didn't complain. Today was important. He needed to sell the flowers to help his mother pay for the groceries. Ayan's home was a tiny room above the bakery, where the sweet smell of bread always lingered. His mother worked long hours, kneading dough from dawn until dusk, her hands rough and tired. Ayan wanted to help. He wanted to do more than just watch her struggle. Selling flowers seemed like a small task, but it was a chance to make a difference. He approached the first house with a shy smile, holding the flowers out. "Good morning, ma'am. Would you like some flowers?" he asked politely. The lady looked down her nose, barely sparing him a glance. "Not today, child," she said sharply, closing the door before he could even respond. The boy's heart sank, but he forced himself to take another step forward. He knocked on the next door. No answer. The next one? A curt, impatient wave from a man in a suit. No money for flowers, he was told. And so the morning passed, each knock chipping away at Ayan's small hopes. His legs ached, and his fingers grew cold from holding the flowers so tightly, but still he kept going. He remembered his mother's words. "Kindness always finds a way. Ayan, don't give up." Those words were a lifeline, a gentle light guiding him through the grayness of rejection. And though the world seemed indifferent, he refused to let it dim his spirit. He imagined the smiles his flowers could bring, the warmth they could spread. Perhaps, he thought, there would be one person who saw him, who understood him, who would give him a chance. As noon approached, Ayan felt hunger gnawing at his stomach and a heaviness in his chest. But he reminded himself he had to keep going. Every knock was a hope, every door a possibility. And somewhere down the street, he felt, someone awaited the simple gift he carried in his small, careful hands. Hours passed, and Ayan's hope began to waver. The sun climbed higher, turning the pavement hot under his bare feet. Each rejection felt heavier than the last, and by now, some neighbors didn't even bother looking at him. Some shouted at him to go away. One woman laughed as if his effort were a joke. He sank onto a curb, holding the wilted flowers close, tears threatening to spill. "Why won't anyone buy them?" he whispered to himself. He felt invisible, a tiny boy lost in a world that barely noticed him. His stomach grumbled, reminding him of the bread he hadn't eaten that morning. His hands trembled, not from cold, but from disappointment. Some children ran past, carrying their lunches and laughing, their shoes shiny and new. Ayan watched them, wishing life had been fairer, wishing he could just be like them, carefree. Instead, he bore the weight of responsibility far heavier than his small frame should carry. He remembered how his mother had smiled at him that morning, telling him he was brave. He had tried so hard not to let her down, yet failure now seemed inevitable. As the afternoon approached, the shadows grew long, and Ayan's spirit dimmed. He had tried every street, every door, and every friendly smile. Nothing worked. He felt a sting of shame in his chest. Maybe I'm not meant to sell flowers. Maybe I'm not meant to help at all. The thought made him shiver. Some passers-by scowled or muttered cruel remarks. One man even kicked a flower out of his hand, laughing at the boy's pleading eyes. Ayan's small shoulders shook as he gathered the few flowers left, his dreams of helping his mother slipping through his fingers like sand. Sitting on the last street corner, he wondered if he should just go home. But deep inside, he held on to a fragile hope, tiny as the petals in his hand. He didn't know it yet, but today, one kind heart was about to notice him, a heart that could change everything. Just as Ayan was about to give up, he noticed an elderly woman standing by a porch, her eyes kind and warm. She watched him with a gentle curiosity as he approached, hesitant but still hopeful. "Good afternoon, ma'am," he said softly. "Would you like some flowers?" The woman smiled, her face lighting up as she took in the little boy and his bundle. "Why, of course, dear," she said, reaching for the flowers. But instead of simply paying him, she beckoned him closer and asked about each bloom, about the colors, about the little story behind them. Ayan's heart leapt as he shared everything, the morning walk, the rejections, his desire to help his mother. The woman listened intently, nodding, her eyes twinkling. Then she did something unexpected. She bought not only all the flowers he had, but also a small basket of fresh bread and fruits, handing them to him with a warm laugh. "You've worked so hard, little one," she said. "The world needs brave hearts like yours." Ayan's eyes filled with tears, tears of relief, joy, and gratitude. For the first time that day, he felt truly seen. The woman's kindness restored his faith in the world and in himself. She even gave him a small envelope saying it was for his mother. "Give her this and tell her she's raising a wonderful boy," she said. With the flowers gone and his burden lightened, Ayan skipped home, his spirits soaring. He couldn't stop smiling as he imagined his mother's surprise. She had no idea that a day which had begun so painfully would end with such warmth. He had learned something important, that one act of kindness could ripple through lives, turning a day of despair into a memory of hope. By the time he reached home, his mother was waiting, worried and tired. Ayan ran into her arms, giving her the envelope and describing the woman's generosity. She hugged him tightly, tears streaming down her face, whispering, "You are my brave boy. You've made today beautiful." Ayan had started the day carrying flowers, but he returned home carrying hope, joy, and the knowledge that the world could be gentle, if only someone chose to show it. Sometimes, the smallest gestures can change a life forever. A little boy, carrying nothing but flowers, found hope in one kind heart. Kindness has a ripple effect. It grows when shared. Even in moments of despair, one person's compassion can shine a light. Remember, your kindness might be the miracle someone has been waiting for.